So how does a verbal autopsy work? Well, to give you all a better idea, let's show you an actual training video as part of training materials that are used in the Indian Million Death Study. This video will describe exactly how the verbal autopsy should be conducted. Remember, this is meant to train field staff, so it's directed at them. Listen carefully and you'll get the gist of how the verbal autopsy works.
5 interview steps. Your goal during an interview is to gather the necessary details on signs, symptoms, and events, and to write a clear and structured narrative. You don't need to be a doctor or medically trained to conduct a thorough interview and to write a high-quality narrative. Anyone can do it. All it requires is that you always follow 5 simple steps. Conducting a good interview is a lot like how great players prepare for cricket matches. Sachin Tendulkar always takes the same steps on his stance and bat preparation. Similarly, you need to take 5 steps each and every time you interview. If you stick to these 5 steps, you will always write a good narrative. A useful tip is to take notes while the respondent is talking and write the final narrative only after these 5 steps. Step 1. Listen. Ask the respondent to describe the events before death in their own words. Everyone appreciates being heard, so start the conversation as an open discussion and give the respondent a chance to tell their version of the story first. For example, you can start by asking, "Tell me what happened in the last few months before the death." Step 2. Positive symptoms. Obtain positive cardinal symptoms and other main events. After listening to the respondent's story, you need to focus on ensuring that you capture the absence or presence of each of the cardinal symptoms. There are 12 cardinal symptoms for adults and 9 for children. Document any cardinal symptoms and the main events the respondent mentions. After they are finished, ask about each of the remaining cardinal symptoms that the respondent did not mention. This way, you will not miss any key points in the history. Step 3. Probe the symptoms. Ask probing questions for each positive cardinal symptom. After obtaining the list of positive cardinal symptoms in Step 2, you should now get more details for each of the symptoms. These details are specific features of each symptom, such as the duration and location of chest pain or the pattern of fever, etc. These are crucial details that will help a doctor separate one cause of death, such as a tuberculosis, from another, such as a heart attack. Step 4. Negative symptoms and extra information. Document negative cardinal symptoms and any available medical information. You should clearly document which of the cardinal symptoms did not occur. For example, if a respondent states that the deceased had diarrhea and weight loss, you should confirm that they did not have any of the remaining 10 cardinal symptoms. Also, gather any available medical information, such as hospital discharge notes, and include the major details, such as name of the hospital or doctor, and any tests performed or diagnoses made. Step 5. Put it all together. Confirm time sequence and read the story back to the respondent. You need to put the events and symptoms in a correct time sequence. For example, a narrative indicating that fever came first, followed by cough and chest pain, may lead to a different diagnosis than a narrative which had those same symptoms in the opposite order. Then, read out your understanding of the events and symptoms to the respondent and make sure he or she agrees with the details you have documented. Once the respondent confirms your version, then write the final narrative. You should write this report immediately after the interview while your memory is still fresh. Remember to take these 5 steps every time, and you will always be a successful interviewer. You can be as good and consistent as Sachin Tendulkar.